All right, here's a basic video on cleaning a catfish. We got about a 3-pound blue here, and we're gonna start. We got the bone at the top, start to the side of that and right behind the skull, and just make a little slit and go right beside the fin. Well, get my butt kicked here. And then just go back a little ways. You don't have to go back real far. And then you're gonna stick the blade in there and make a V, just like that. Then we're gonna go ahead and do the other side. When you come around this fin, all I gotta do is go back to where you join where you did your first cut, stick that blade in there, and make another V. All right, take this skin and pliers. Now I should say that before I bled it out for about 15 minutes, I cut its tail, and then I cut its jugular by reaching in like this and just following the bone down. And my golly, it bleeds out so fast doing that. You wanna make sure and bleed them out before you clean them. Makes a lot less mess. I've already cleaned catfish on this table. You don't see a ton of gunk and blood on it compared to normal because it bled out real good. Now we're gonna take rip the skin off. Go to the other V. Peel them right off. Now, I'm all about the V's. We did the V's on top. We're gonna come back and right behind the skull, we're gonna poke a little hole, and then we're just gonna trim or start cutting into it, follow it around. We got a V and a V. We're gonna do the same thing on this side. So we have another V. And it's important you do this right because otherwise you're gonna tear up the meat and you just have a little bit more of a mess. You wanna go from the side and pull it, then go from the other side and pull it, and then come from the back, maybe, and pull it. All right, go ahead and fillet it. When you fillet it, you're just following the bones. And then get this nice big chunk of head meat out of there. Flip it over and repeat. Like I said, just follow the bones. You don't want to be digging into the bones because then you got to cut the bones out of it. Cut those ribs out. And then all you're doing is just follow, let the knife do the work. Just follow the bones. Get another big chunk of meat. That's where most people stop. To me, that's a complete waste because look at this bad boy right here. We're gonna go ahead and cut this slit right down the middle of the belly. And then if you look down in there, you're gonna see film. You just scrape that back with the knife and then come back here and cut like that and then just follow the ribs. Just like that. And we're gonna repeat again. Right in there, just follow the ribs. Just like that. And just like that, we get 40% of the meat. If I got a 3-pound catfish, I'm gonna get 1.2 pounds of meat out of it. Now for the fillets. Everybody hates the red meat. I'm not gonna go and trim all this red meat out. I think that's a little excessive, but the tail is about half red meat at the very end of it. So I'll just angle it down like that and trim that off. And when you flip it over, straighten it out so your bloodline's straight, and you're gonna do 2 45-degree angle cuts right along it. And bam. All right, now when you do that, you finish pulling that apart, you're gonna notice there's a big thick chunk of red meat right there. All you've got to do is stick the knife right under it and then just follow it. And your knife will almost follow it all the way down. See that? Do the same thing on the other part. Just like that. Now, I suggest whenever you clean it, figure out how you want it cut. When my wife cooks it, she cooks it in like little 1x1 cubes or so. So I go ahead and cut it now because it's a whole lot easier to cut it now than it is after you've thawed it. You know, after you thaw it, it's a little mushy. So it's a pain in the butt, just like that. Your belly meat, I just cut off the corners, make little chunks. Now, your bloodlines, the parts of the tail you cut off, that's waste, right? Well, for us, we got dogs. So I always give it to the dogs. A, because they love it, and B, because it's really healthy for them. But doing it this way, if you make your V's, you get that belly meat, all you're doing is pulling on your V's, and you're gonna get 40% of the body weight, generally, of that fish and meat. So if I get a 10-pound fish, I expect 4 pounds of meat off of that fish. Alrighty, tune in to our next video, and remember to follow the YouTube channel, Team Fish Fry.